Hello, it's Simon Zucchi here. In this video, I want to share with you where you should buy investment property in 2025. And also, I'm going to answer questions such as, why do property prices seem so high in the UK? And what's going to happen to UK property prices in 2025? So I'm often asked the question, Simon, where's the hotspot? Where should I be investing in property? Well, let me let you into a little secret here. I've been investing in property for the last 30 years, teaching people like you how to be a successful investor for the last 22 years. And I don't like investing in hotspots. And let me explain why. Where somewhere has become a hotspot, it means there are more buyers piling into that area than there are sellers. So prices go up. I mean, this is amazing. They want to jump in and catch this. But the problem is, if it's already seen as a hotspot and prices are going up, you're probably too late. And actually, the skill is finding somewhere and buying there before the prices start to shoot up. Now, that's really difficult. And so rather than trying to find this magical area, my advice to you and thinking about where you should be property investing in 2025, the very best place for you to start investing is close to where you live or where you work. And the reason is you're going to have a much better understanding of the area. You're going to know what are the good areas and the not such good areas. It's very easy for you to become a specialist and really understand your gold mine area in which you're buying properties, to become a real expert in your own right, understanding values and rents. So when you spot a good deal, you recognize it instantly because you have a really good knowledge of that local area. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, yes, but property prices are very expensive. It doesn't really work in my area. Well, you need to adapt your strategy slightly based on the area you live in. And also, I'd suggest that rather than investing exactly where you live, maybe within 45 minutes drive of where you live, there might be an area where it stacks up better. What I mean by stack up, I mean it gives a better cash flow and a better return on investment. You see, maybe there's somewhere where you can buy at a lower price than where you actually live, but often the rents are not that much lower. So you put less money in, you get a better cash flow and a better return on investment. So if you feel that where you live is really expensive right now, and if you're wondering why house prices are so high in 2025, well, don't worry, there will be an area close to where you live where it stacks up better. If you're looking at big cities and you want to invest there, they can be really good. There's high demand in big cities, obviously. And again, in any city, there's going to be some good areas and some not such good areas. A mistake that people often make is they say, well, I wouldn't want to live there. Well, here's the point. It's an investment property and you're not the person living there. As long as it's suitable for your type of tenants you're trying to attract to that particular property, that's the important thing. So as long as your tenant wants to live there, it doesn't really matter what you think and you're not living there anyway. And besides, you can't live in your investment properties anyway. You're not supposed to live in a property if you have a buy-to-let mortgage on it. So start thinking about your tenants and what do they want. Now, within cities, there is this high demand, but there's also high competition. There's lots of other people looking to buy investment properties in that particular area. So here's a big tip for you. If you want to have less competition when looking for property deals, instead of looking at the big cities, start looking at the satellite towns that are around the big cities. They're places where people live, but generally they commute into the big city for work. Now, why is this important? Well, as long as you've got really good transport links, sometimes the journey into the city centre might only be 10, 15 or 20 minutes into the city centre on a fast train. However, in the satellite town, property prices are a lot less, but more importantly, there's a lot less competition from other investors who are mainly all focusing on the big cities. So if you really want to have less competition, definitely focus on the satellite towns where often property prices are lower, and although rents are lower, they're not that much lower, so they stack up much better as investments. So that's my general advice on where you should start to invest. However, you can also invest remotely. You don't have to invest where you live or within 45 minutes drive. We have many of our property investor mastermind clients who are investing hours away from where they live. In fact, we have international clients who are investing remotely from overseas in the UK. So how do you find an area to invest in if it's not where you're living? And again, don't go and look for the hotspots. What you really want to do is a bit of research to work out, okay, where do I think the population is going to grow over the next few years faster than the average population growth? You see, if you've got people coming into an area, maybe they're coming in for work, maybe they've got new building projects, maybe they're extending universities or hospitals, etc. Maybe they're creating business parks that have lots of staff on. Where there's work, where there's employment, you'll have people coming into the area in order to work. And they obviously want to live quite close to where they work, nice and convenient. So where you have increasing populations generally stimulated by work, those are areas where you might see property prices go up faster than other prices. Now, remember, in any country, you're going to have certain areas that are going up faster than others, but over the long term, all property prices come up. So as long as you're following my 5 golden rules in my book, Property Magic, which are very quickly, in case you can't remember, golden rule number 1, we like to buy from motivated sellers. Golden rule number 2, we only buy in an area of strong rental demand. And right now in the UK, there's really good demand pretty much everywhere. Number 3, we only buy a property that makes us positive cash flow. That means at the end of the month, there must be profit left over from that property after paying the mortgage, the insurance, the bills, the maintenance. Otherwise, it's not a good deal. Rule number 4, we're buying for the long term. Rule number 5, have a cash buffer, a little bit of money set aside just in case of something that's not covered by insurance. If you follow the 5 golden rules, you'll dramatically minimize the risk and maximize your return. And remember that golden rule number 4, we're buying for long term. Now that works as long as we follow rule 2 and 3, i.e. we know we can always rent this property out, there's a good strong demand and there's positive cash flow. So even if property prices drop down a little bit or don't go up as much as other areas, as long as we're holding long term, we're going to see significant capital growth. Wealthy people, they're not just thinking about cash flow now, they're investing for long-term wealth, generational wealth. And if you can pass your family's properties down through the generations, that's how you create substantial wealth, not just for you, but for your entire bloodline going forward. So plan to hold property long-term, then it doesn't really matter what happens short-term as long as you're following those golden rules. So with that in mind, rather than trying to pick the hotspot to invest in, either invest in your area where you live within 45 minutes drive, or if you want to invest remotely because it might stack up a bit better, find an area where you have some sort of connection with. Maybe it's an area you've once lived in that area, you've been to university there, you've worked there, you've got family there, you've visited a lot for holidays, somewhere where you like the area, you can get to know it, you don't mind visiting, because even if you're investing remotely, you're going to have to go to the area at least every month or so to look for deals, to speak to sellers, to speak to your letting agents who are looking after your property. And that's one of the benefits of investing remotely. You can't be tempted to manage yourself because you're just not going to do a very good job. You need to have people on the ground who are looking after the lettings for you. Now that's really good because it means you're not going to tie up your time dealing with tenants and sorting out those things. You pay someone else, which liberates your time to give you the ability to go and buy more deals, which is where you make the money. You make more money buying deals than you do managing property. And this is a slight shift in mindset because a lot of people think, well, I'm going to manage the properties myself and save the money. And I was to understand when you start, and I certainly did that myself. I was managing my properties. I didn't want to pay other people to do it. However, a few properties is manageable, but as your portfolio grows, there'll be less and less time you have available to you to actually grow the portfolio. So at some point you want to step away from the management, you give it to someone else to do, that frees up your time to really focus on making the money by doing more deals. If you're investing remotely, you have to start that process straight away. So how do you find people on the ground in the area you want to invest if it's remote from where you live? Well, one of the best things you can do is go to a local property investor network meeting. There were 45 plus meetings around the country, a couple in the Netherlands as well. And the reason I set this up back in 2003, there was no networking anywhere in the UK, and I kind of pioneered property networking by starting the very first meeting, and we're now the longest running and biggest network in the UK, was I found property investing really quite lonely. All of my friends were still at work. My family, although they had their own homes, didn't really have investment properties. And the more successful I became, the fewer and fewer people around me I could speak to. And I wanted to get around a group of like-minded people because you become like the people you surround yourself with. And I went online back in 2003 and there was nothing at all anywhere in the UK. I would have travelled. I was so desperate to get in a group of like-minded people. But it wasn't there, so I set up the very first networking. And when you go to a property investor network meeting, it's an opportunity to connect with other like-minded people in your area who understand what you're looking to do. And that's important, because if you tell your family, friends, work colleagues, hey, I want to replace my income in the next 12 to 24 months, they're going to think you're a bit crazy. If you say at a property network meeting, you'll say, okay, that's great, fantastic. How are you going to do it? How can I help you? And it's just a completely different mindset. So get yourself into a local property investor network meeting. If you're watching this video, you've probably heard about it before, you've probably been, you know how powerful they are. If you've not been to a local property investor network meeting yet, want to put a stake in the ground and go this month to check it out for yourself. And by the way, if you've never been before, you can come to your very first PIN meeting for free as my guest. All you have to do is go to pinmeeting.co.uk. We'll put a link below this video as well. Go to pinmeeting.co.uk, find your local meeting, check you can do the date and time. They're generally in the evening on Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays after work, because many people who go along are still working or have a busy job or they're running a business. And so then in the evening, you go along, connect, and we have a couple of speakers sharing topics that they're different every single month, all sorts of property investing strategies and knowledge, and you can gain knowledge from these people who are sharing their years of experience. You can connect with other people, and you can also get recommendations of people in that area who can help you. So if you're investing out of your area, find out when the local property investor network meetings happening in that particular area. Plan to go up around that time, plan to stay the night, stick your hand up, say to everyone, hey, look, I'm looking for people on the ground to help me. I'm from out of town, and you'll find people really friendly offering to help. Collect their details, follow up, and that's a great way to build your network, and also ask those people for recommendations. Who are the good local estate agents? Who are the good property managers? Who are the local builders and plumbers and service people they use? And by using that word of mouth recommendation, that's how you can very quickly build your own power team, especially if you're investing outside of your area. So I hope that helps. I hope you've liked this video. Do please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to make sure you get notified anytime we bring out a brand new video. Click on the link below to come and check out your local PIN meeting. And if you've never been, you can use the voucher code, which is YouTube. So when you go to the payment page, click where it says pay with the voucher code, use the word YouTube, fill in the details, it will bypass the payment page, saving you £25 and come to your very first PIN meeting for free. If you've been before, I'm really happy for you to share that voucher code with any family or friends who haven't been to a PIN meeting before, who you think would benefit from coming along and getting into this group of like-minded people. As ever, I encourage you to invest with knowledge, invest with skill. I look forward to seeing you at a PIN meeting very soon, and enjoy the next video.